The Citrus County Chamber of Commerce is proud to present the 2022 Board of County Commission Primary Candidate Forum, sponsored by Shaw's Senior Home Care Services and filmed by Digital Hound Media.
Welcome to the Citrus County Board of County Commissioners Primary Candidate Forum. As we begin today's forum, we're going to invite each candidate to make a three-minute introduction. And I want to cut in and just say we're on a very tight time schedule today. We have a lot of questions to be answered, so we're going to ask everybody to follow the time frame. At the close of the forum, each of you will have an additional 1 minute to conclude. Our timer for responses is Jim Green, and Jim is right there. He will warn you when you have 30 seconds and time up, holding up cards to demonstrate where you are in your talk. The moderators for the forum will be Tiara Alexander and David Reed, and they're seated right there. They're both members of the Chamber's Board of Directors. The order in which candidates will give their opening and closing remarks, as well as respond to questions, will be drawn randomly. And I have this precious box right here. And I'm going to draw all 5 names, and I'm going to make a note of what order they're in. And that's how you will begin your 3-minute speeches. The first speaker will be Diana Finnegan. The second speaker will be, get it open, Wynn Webb. The third speaker will be John Murphy. The fourth speaker will be Stacey Worthington. And the fifth speaker will be Rebecca Bays. We are going to be playing a little musical chairs with the microphones here. We will now move to the questions after they finish their 3-minute talks. So Diana, you may begin your 3 minutes.
Hi, I am Diana Finnegan, and I'm offering to you my 25 years of leadership experience to run for Citrus County Commission District 2. Excuse me. That experience includes balancing multi-million-dollar budgets and also very small budgets, and expected to do great things. We're having a little problem here. And expected to do great things with on that small budget. I also have experience with government contracts and contractors. I've done policy work on a local and a state level. I've brought in a handful of new programs into our community. And I've worked and served with other nonprofits, being on their boards and just helping them just because it's the right thing to do. In all of my 25 years of experience, it's been pointed out to me, so I'll go ahead and point that out to you before someone else does it. What the one thing that I didn't do is just over a year ago, a year or so, there was a vacancy on the Planning and Development Commission, and I did not volunteer to take that seat. What I did do for the better part of this year is volunteer my time to sit at every single Citrus County Commission meeting and workshop so that I could be ready to work for you on day 1. I heard a speaker a couple of days ago, and he said, "You are where you have been, and you are known by your track record." Well, my track record has really been proven in Citrus County, and it's been well documented by the Citrus County Chronicle. The Citrus County Chronicle was there when I had this great idea to build a 10,000 square foot building to keep victims of domestic violence safe. I wrote all the grants for that building. I sat with an architect to draw the plans, and I served as the program manager or the project manager from start to finish. We finished on time and under budget. The Chronicle was there when I brought in that first grant, and it was over $883,000. And I knew how to leverage that money to keep bringing more money into Citrus County. And why is that important to you? Because your tax dollars also go to a state and a federal level, and I know how to get that money, your money, and bring it back to the benefit of Citrus County. The Chronicle was also there to document when I was chosen to mentor young kids, when I started new healthy relationship programs in the schools, at all the events that I was doing to help the agency that I was working with, and then all the places I went to help others. So I have this proven track record that I offer to you, and after, of course, I left the nonprofit business, you've seen our success in the for-profit business. You've seen our buildings grow, and my time is up. And the success that we've done in Citrus County, and I'm asking for your vote and support. Thank you.
So as a lifelong resident of Citrus County, I feel like I won the lottery of life just to be able to grow up here. I owe a lot to Citrus County. I raised my children here. My grandchildren are all familiar with Citrus County as well. And as a lifelong resident, former business owner here in Citrus County, I've also been a Navy veteran, honorably discharged. I'm a retired deputy sheriff and detective from Citrus County, and I have a lot to offer. I've also been a county commissioner, of which I became a certified county commissioner through the Florida Association of Counties and an advanced certified county commissioner through the Florida Association of Counties. I wanted to be able to hit the ground running, literally. I wanted to know when you run for office, a lot of times, just OJT, on-the-job training. I didn't want to do it that way. I wanted to know more to be a better commissioner for you. I'm spending your tax dollars, and you hear a lot of things about new sources of revenue. Trust me, there's no new source of revenue. It's your tax dollars, no matter what we call it. We can call it fees, MSBUs, ad valorem. It's all taxes. This all comes from you. And as your county commissioner, I want to be the guy that kind of keeps an eye on it. We don't want to be wasteful spenders. We want to be frugal. And I think we have a great opportunity to do that. And I ask for your support. Thank you.
Very good. So Citrus County is a wonderful place, right? We sit right in the heart of the nature coast. We enjoy a community that lots of other places in the world do not exhibit. I'll stand, I guess. I'm peer pressuring to stand with everybody else. So we live in this community, the heart of the nature coast, a community unlike so many others around the state, and it's one that I want to protect because at the end of the day, I want to make sure the quality of life that we enjoy today is that quality of life that we get to enjoy in years to come for now. So as a local business leader, as one of your chamber leaders, as well as an advocate volunteer in our community, I'm committed my life to the vision and the future of the community that I want to see and that I want to help bring to Citrus County. So, because I want to grow better jobs. I want to make sure that those folks that want to live here have a clean, safe community for us to live in. And I want to make sure that my message that you hear is very simple, which is that together we can build the future that we all envision, right? Together we can build that future that we envision. It's my message to build career job opportunities for the folks of our community. I've worked with youth for a lot of years in our community through schools, through volunteering, through scouts. I'm still a scout leader to today. And all too often, those youth of our community, they just leave our community right after high school, right after even college graduation, and they don't come back because those career job opportunities don't exist for them here. We can build a community that has those careers for them right here in Citrus County. I love this county, and my background of service as well as business leadership will provide me the opportunity to help bring our community forward, and I've done the hard work. And along with this great team, I mentioned earlier that I'm a member of the Chamber of Government Affairs Committee, and I've been doing that for a lot of years because I feel very strongly and passionately that helping to grow our local business community will speak to the future and the lifeblood of our community. Without a thriving local business community, we're going to struggle to grow our community. So that has been my passion for many years, and I've been fighting, whether it be at the local level, meeting with legislators, or even road tripping up to Tallahassee to make sure that our local business community, those mom and pop businesses that we see on Main Street, are being served well. And so I want to build that, again, that community with career jobs, create the opportunities right here in Citrus County, and we can do that. I love this community, my background in community service, my background in business leadership, my background in helping to run a multi-million-dollar business will serve this community, and on August 23rd, I ask for your vote, John Murphy County Commission.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you to the Chamber for hosting the forum today. I'm Stacy Worthington, candidate for County Commission, District 2. My opponent and I do have things in common. We both grew up in Citrus County. I'm a West Side girl. I grew up in Homosassa. We're both business women in the same industry. Both of our husbands started air conditioning companies in Citrus County. What are the odds? And also we're involved with our community, both of us, albeit in different roles. I've served on the board of directors for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Citrus County for many years, impacting the lives of children. And also I served on the board and I was the president of the Citrus County Building Alliance. So it's not lost on me that you have two blonde, relatively similar age women going for the same office. But there is a place where we are different, and she alluded to it earlier. According to your strategic planning that was done recently, the biggest threat to Citrus County is growth and our lack of preparedness for it. I did apply, and I do serve on the Planning and Development Commission. And I learned on the trail, not a lot of people know what that is or what we do, but we do have and play a vital role in Citrus County government. Our board is the second most challenging board in the county. We operate almost identically to the Board of County Commissioners. We are the first stop for some applications revolving around residential plan unit development and retail projects, and we're the last stop for others, like variances and conditional use. On that board, I have learned so much. I know the land development code and the comprehensive plan. I have learned how to balance personal property rights and the law. Also, I understand what a well-planned project looks like. I know what development goes in Citrus County and is part of our nature coast and our small town charm and what isn't. So there's a lot of people moving to Florida, over 1,000 a day is what they say, and unplanned growth will negatively impact our quality of life. And I feel like we need a commissioner who is competent in all of these areas, because that's what your county commissioners are going to be facing in these next few years. I have the institutional knowledge and education and background to be able to go to that Board of County Commissioners and be an asset and start leading conversations on day one. So I look forward to earning your vote and proving that I am the most qualified candidate.
Hi, it's great to be here with you today, and many of you I know it's not an unfamiliar place for me. My name is Rebecca Bays, and I'm a candidate for County Commission District 4. My professional career has been spent in the financial management and risk management area, and I got to Citrus County a little over 21 years ago, and I hit the ground running. It was instantly home to me. I got involved with a numerous amount of nonprofit boards. The American Cancer Society, Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Some of the things that I'm very proud about is we worked hard to save Three Sisters Springs from condo development. We're currently working on putting together a nonprofit veterans assisted living facility. And but I serve, well, I also am a mother, a wife, a taxpayer, a job creator, and a business owner. And I think those are all very important qualities for a county commissioner. I think when you are able to apply those into your community, I haven't just talked the talk and walked the walk. And we also help put a debt-free YMCA in this community, which has served the public greatly. After getting here, I also became a county commissioner in 2010 to 2014, and I'll tell you, that was one of the most difficult times in this county. We had the Great Recession. We also had the debacle of Duke and closing down the nuclear plant. And they also extracted 600 of the highest quality paying jobs out of this town. That sent us into a tailspin. And I'm going to tell you, that is probably one of the most valuable experiences that you can have as a county commissioner, because we did what we did to survive. So I know how to manage in good times. I know how to manage in bad times. I know how to put people to work. And I think, looking at a budget, we have to develop our priorities. We have to have a 5-year strategic plan, looking at every revenue and every expenditure, and we're gonna have to prioritize what's important and the needs and wants. Folks, I'm telling you, I've looked at this budget. We've got the money to do some programs, but it's our job to peel this onion and get to the bottom of it and put Citrus County on a path for its future. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Well done by everybody. We now move to the questions. The following questions for our candidates were drawn up by the Chamber's Governmental Affairs Committee with input from a survey of the Chamber membership at large. Each of you will have an opportunity to give a 90-second response. 90 seconds. Again, if we will do a random choice of the order of the respondents by pulling from the candidate bucket. At this point, I'm going to turn the microphone over to David and Tierra. And you got one? Okay, good. So you guys can go ahead and draw names and decide who's going to answer.
All right, we'll start with the order. First up to answer will be Wynn Webb. Second will be Rebecca Bates. Third will be Diana Finnegan. Fourth will be John Murphy. And last will be Miss Stacy Worthington. All right, and our question is, in this past legislative session, Citrus County was granted $27 million in state appropriations for infrastructure improvements and environmental protection projects. How would you propose to launch these funded projects, along with the previously appropriate projects, in a timely manner?
Well, I think that we need to talk to our legislators, because that's where the money comes from. That's where we're asking for it. We have to have good communication, open line with the legislators, and be able to communicate with them. I am on good terms with Dr. Masula, and also with Congressman Simpson. I think we need to continue in this regard. And Citrus County is the nature coast, and they recognize it. The businesses recognize this as the nature coast. Why do you think the big box stores are coming here? Because they know that we're going to grow. We have to be prepared. We need to have our infrastructure in place, and right now our infrastructure is not up to where it should be for the population we have, and yet we still have more people coming. I'd like to have this as a priority on the county commission to try and get that money here, because again, that's our tax dollars. We just want to get a part of it back. Thank you.
A few years ago, well, actually this happened during my tenure on the board. We had a project called 491, and we had the funding for it. It was to be a divided 4-lane highway. The state allocated over $13 million. And folks, I'm gonna tell you, the quantitative impact of not building that road and not putting those dollars to work is not only just the convenience of having a 4-lane road, it has cost us double, it will cost us double, if not triple now to complete it. Because the lack of planning and implementation of that project, on top of the loss of taxable value, meaning that we haven't been able to develop that corridor. And the other factor is that's lost jobs. We've lost job opportunities. I would also tell you that they received money for the Inverness Airport, and that is also probably very similar in nature to what's happened with 491. It's also been my understanding that we've received some grant money for septic to sewer projects, and that they didn't do those in a timely manner, and they had to return the money to the state.
I agree that time is of the essence when the money comes to the community. Before we all sat down today, I was talking to a couple of people about some things that's been happening over the year with county government, and time doesn't always seem to be of the essence. So when money's coming in, we need to make these decisions fast. You were saying $27 million for these projects. There's also $29 million that was awarded in ARPA funds and $5.2 million for economic development, and that came from CARES money. So all of that COVID money came down here. Now I know there's a work group working on that $5.2 million, and the $29 million is set aside for water and sewer, which I think will be great for especially things like economic development, because businesses are looking for shovel-ready property and they want to look at our infrastructure. So any money that we're putting in the county is going to be to our benefit. My worry is currently, I don't know that time is of the essence. So as county commissioner, we've got to start moving the cogs a little quicker. We need to have a plan of how we're going to spend it. And as Rebecca just said, don't send that money back. I'm never a proponent from that. I've brought a lot of money, grant money, into this county over many, many years. I know how to spend that money, and I am willing to be part of a team that can get that money in and spend it when it's needed to be spent. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So how do you get these projects done in a timely manner? You got to start with leadership, right? We are in the search for a county administrator right now in Citrus County, and we have a vacancy in leadership there. We have a vacancy in leadership in 6 critical areas of government for us. So how do you have projects going forth when you don't have senior leaders running those departments? So the $13 million from 491 is a great example of how we have this track record of not quickly and effectively implementing the dollars that have literally been given to us. We were handed $13 million from the state. We're so close to almost having to give it back because we've sat on it for so long, because for whatever reason we had leadership that said, I'd rather not spend any money rather than make the investment of the money that was being given to us. So we also have an inability for whatever reason to do things concurrently, right? We have project number 1 and project number 2, but we can't do project number 2 until we have project number 1 completed. I don't know about you guys, but in my business, it's all hands on deck all the time. And that's how you run things, is making sure that you have the right people in place, you have the right leadership, and you have a plan to implement the projects, and you can do things concurrently. And right now, we have an ineffective inability to do things concurrently.
Thank you. Going last, I'm sort of at a disadvantage here because Rebecca and John sort of stole my thunder on this answer. Yes, we have several a lot of funding that we have received that we have slow walked or not moved the projects along in a timely manner. Of course, 491 comes to everyone's mind. And when we think about projects and development that might have been lost, that may have come into the county had that road been completed and put into use. Okay, so I'll come up with a solution perhaps. So we have outstanding items on the Board of County Commission agenda every 2 weeks. How about if we put the projects that have been funded on that same agenda, and that would provide public transparency and also commission oversight to say, where are we with these projects now, so we can keep a close watch over it.
Thank you, candidates. For question number 2, we will have an order here. First, Rebecca Bays, followed by John Murphy, then Diana Finnegan, Wynn Webb, Stacy Worthington. And if you need the question repeated, we will be able to do that. How would you propose attaining the funds needed to ensure adequate infrastructure and services for our existing residents, as well as the continuous influx of new residents? Rebecca?
Well, again, I said, until you're sitting in that seat and you can get the answers that you need, and I don't know who's looked at a government budget, but it's like fuzzy math. It's not very clear sometimes, and there's lots of different pots, and the way they shift money around and they allocate it to different projects. But I would tell you, I think this is an opportunity. I think I just went dead. That's all right, you all are naked. Honestly, I mean, this is really, when I say peel the onion, I mean peel the onion. It's time. It is about allocating dollars in pots, and I'm going to tell you, when we take gas tax and we talk about funding roads, then it should be about funding roads. Let's take out salaries. Let's take out the expenses that's allocated that and put them someplace else. Can't get it straight between the 30 seconds and the mic. But there is money there, and we have to really dig into this budget. We have to look at it. We have to take the expenses and allocate the dollars where they need. We know that sometimes we hear about gas tax, and with the fuel efficiencies, it's not going to keep pace, and the electric cars. But the money is there. We can take the gas tax and apply it directly to road resurfacing.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. How would you propose attaining the funds needed to ensure adequate infrastructure and services for our existing residents, as well as the continuous influx of new residents?
I think you got to start with having skin in the game, right? So not everything can be grant funded, but one of the things you got to start with is if we're going to go down this grant funded process for any project, right? Is it the project? Is it a right project? Has it been justified? All of those kind of key metrics. And then, do we have skin in the game? We've got a long-standing history of kind of asking for other people's money and not putting local skin in the game. You know, sometimes it's okay to put up $1 million to get $10 million, right? That seems like a fair trade to me. And at the end of the day, if that $10 million is not acquired, well then your $1 million that we're willing to put up is not at risk, right? So sometimes because your question is about the process, at least that's the way I see it. And I think that's one of the things that we have to do is make sure. The other thing we can't do is we can't alienate people, organizations, legislators, and groups, right? I think we have a county commission right now that likes to poke people in the navel, and sometimes we just need to be better stewards of our community, and we need to have better relationships within our community and not be so the aggressor on so many things, because people don't like to do business with people they don't like, right? So let's start there.
So the question basically is, how are you going to pay for it? Most of you are small business owners. Does that make you scared right now because you're struggling with your supply? Costs have gone way up. Gas is way up. We have a lot of trucks on the road. Gas has went way up. Insurance costs have went way up. But I am in agreement with what Rebecca said. There's money in the budget. There's money in the budget, and we can accomplish these things. And I know even months ago, we were talking about, hey, you know, there is that local sales tax option. Should we put that on the ballot? Which, you know, if voters want that, put anything on the ballot. Let the voters decide. But, you know, we got some good news. I took it as good news. About a week ago, I saw published that Craig Dalton, our property appraiser, gave these early figures, and it shows our new growth for non-school taxable money was at 9%. So that translates roughly into $35 million. Now, all of that won't be spendable. 5% will have to go to reserves, and there's some other money allocated. But that's extra money. New growth has come, and that's more money in our budget. And before I overburden you all in 2023 with more taxes that I know you're struggling right now, I'm going to peel apart that budget, and I'm going to look at this new money coming in, and we're going to look at infrastructure and start working on a solution. Thank you.
How are we going to pay for it? Great question. What about the new money we're getting right now that no one's talking about? Just in Citrus Springs alone, this year, since January, there's over 450 homes either under construction or have been constructed already. What about those homes? What about all the other homes around the county? I went to the South Highlands the other day, and I saw at least 6 to 8 more homes under construction. They paid impact fees, they're gonna be paying ad valorem taxes. What about all the businesses we've got coming here right now? They paid impact fees, and they're gonna pay ad valorem taxes. What about that money? That money can be used for building this infrastructure that we've been putting off so long. It's time that we stop, as the old cliche goes, kicking that can down the road. We have got to, as a new commission, we've got to tidy up and do the job the way it needs to be done. Thank you.
To piggyback on what everyone has said, as far as, I think growth pays for itself. Wynn started alluding to this, last year we had 2,000 new single-family dwellings in Citrus County. So that's 2,000 new taxpayers, and as we continue to diversify our economy, I think that's the most important thing, because commercial, small businesses are taxpayers, and right now we have most of the burden on our residential taxpayers because we don't have a broad base of economic development. As we diversify our economy, we will gain additional funding from taxes for commercial businesses. And also, the impact fees, Wynn alluded to this, one of the benefits of sitting on that commission is that, when we see a project like out on Rock Crusher coming in with a lot of new development, we just implemented impact fees, and that's not a general tax, it's a fee that's charged as you're building to pay for the necessitated growth. So being proactive, planning, but growth will pay for itself.
All right, we'll give the order for the next question. Miss Rebecca will be first. Then Miss Stacy, not last. Then John. Then Diana. And then Stuart. The question is, we have a problem with adequate local workforce, which is exacerbated by an insufficient supply of affordable housing. Are there policies the Board of County Commissioners can adopt to address these affordable housing issues? Please explain.
Well, I would tell you that I think some of that is being addressed through Habitat, but secondly, the state had created a fund back in the 70s called the Sadowski Funds, and what that is dock stamps that is revenue paid at the time of home sales, and is to be used for affordable housing. The dirty little secret is that they've rated that fund to the tune of $7 billion and put it in their general coffers. What would that do for our community? I know we've had some successes out of it. We've had the colonnades, I think the one up on Forest Ridge and one in Beverly Hills. But if we start calculating those dollars, because they're supposed to proportionately come back to your county, and they haven't been. So I think we need to work with our private sector. Some of those funds are allocated through what the Sadowski called SALE, and that is for private development to come in and build these projects. And the other one is SHIP, and that's to help with rental repairs and a variety of other things. So I think if we tap into that and we tell the legislature, you pass down your unfunded mandates, give us what we deserve back.
Affordable housing, I like to call it workforce housing. I don't think enough people draw the line in between the housing shortage and how it is impacting our workforce. Right now, we have a housing shortage and a lack of rental opportunities. I support Habitat for Humanity, and I think most of our community does too, and they're doing good work, and so I think as a county commission, we shouldn't put any additional burdens on that, on what they're doing. In our comprehensive plan, affordable housing is part of our comprehensive plan, and on most of the residential development projects that come before us, they always ask, was affordable housing addressed in this application? And the answer is always no. So a lot of people are talking about density bonuses and whether or not that could be a solution to some of this, where we put a bonus inside as a condition for approval for a large planned unit development.
Thank you. So on the habitat front, that's a great example of how government kind of can stand in the way of progress or really be a help to make sure that good things happen. Habitat for Humanity, they have a great project going on in Citrus Springs. They wanted the county's support to ask the state legislature for funds to pay for sewer and water to that project. The Chamber of Commerce said, absolutely, that's an amazing project. We're going to fight hard for you, and we did. The county, on the other hand, said, no, we're not going to make that one of our legislative priorities. Why would they not, right? So instead, Habitat had to spend $2 million of their own dollars they had to put sewer and water into their project. They've since received the money back from the state, which is wonderful. But that's an example of how government can kind of stand in the way of progress or be there to be helpful and be part of the solution. Other projects like the folks from Green Mills, their developers are out there. They want to develop these projects. We need to engineer the circumstances that make it attractive for them to come here and still maintain the quality of life that we want because it's in the right spot, it's the right location, it meets the metrics that we want. Colonnades and Forest Ridge, those are both 55 plus communities, but those folks need help just as much as anybody else. And then think about those 200 units, all that now available inventory that's going to be in place because 200 more residents are now in those units and not taking other units that are on the free market system.
So as a county commissioner, totally agree with helping fund water and sewer for Habitat for Humanity. That's what we want affordable housing to look like. Totally disagree with density bonuses at this time. We have a problem in this county with being reactive instead of proactive. And I have a unique opportunity. I'm the only candidate up here that's actually housed people. I have helped hundreds, if not thousands of people transfer from temporary housing into permanent housing. And the question is kind of odd because it's for workers. As a businesswoman, I don't think that we solve the issue of low pay by giving affordable housing. You solve the pay issue by working, especially with this chamber, and educating the community, your community, business community, of how to pay higher wages and make it work for you. How do I know this? We've recently done that with our own business. When everyone's struggling with workers, we redid the way we did business, and we already had workers at a living wage. Now they're making even more money and loving it and reworking their benefits to put more money into their pockets. I think we're down a slippery slope if we're looking for a wage answer with housing. Those are two separate things, and we need to address those items separately. Thank you.
Yes, much of what they said, there's also things we can do that was also vaguely touched on, is zoning and the high density in the proper areas. We need to focus on areas that are close to the hospitals, close to schools, close to public transportation. The public transportation that we have here in the county, when I was on the board the first time, we actually voted to implement that. And that was a struggle too for those that remember. We are constantly growing and we're learning as we go. This is something that we'll have to continue to learn on, but we have to have workforce. Everybody wants to go through McDonald's and get their decaf coffee or whatever, and the problem is the folks that are working there can't afford rent. So this is workforce, and they're not high-paying jobs. So a lot of times, these are kids that are working still from home, but a lot of times they're young adults who've had to struggle and had to take what they can get. So I would say we just keep working towards the affordable housing because it's critical for our community, and I think that we can do it. The ones that they have in Inverness are working, and you can see it, and they're going to do another one behind the Regency in Inverness. I think we need to learn from, sometimes the county can learn from cities. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, candidates. Couple more hours to go, Peter. Just kidding. All right, we now have a series of rapid fire questions where we're going to ask for a 1 or 2 word answer. In other words, we're not looking for a wordy explanation. These questions were developed based upon responses by chamber members to a recent temperature check survey. The chamber represents nearly 1,000 businesses in Citrus County. These questions have been narrowed down by the Governmental Affairs Committee to what was felt to be the top 3. We will quickly work our way down the line of candidates with each question, and David will explain the order of how they're going to ask these questions.
Alrighty, so our first question, we're going to start with our left. So Diana, you will start and work right, okay? So the first question is, what is your #1 priority for Citrus County as a commissioner?
One word?
Budget. Transparency and accountability.
Administrator and filling 6 top positions.
Career jobs.
Keeping taxes low.
For the next question, Mr. Wynn, we'll start with you and work our way back the other way. How do you feel about a turnpike extension through Citrus County? Are you for it, against it, or unsure?
About what?
A turnpike extension through Citrus County.
I'm against it. No.
The way it stands now, against it.
Currently against.
Against it also.
Against it.
All right, for this question, I'm going to start right in the middle with Rebecca. I will move left to Stacy, back right to John, back left to Diana, and then Wynn.
You're asking way too much, man. Way too
Right here. What do you see as the major challenge facing Citrus County, the Citrus County Commission?
Growth management.
Stacy?
Growth and our lack of preparedness for it.
Lack of senior leadership.
Just stay there for a second.
Okay.
Filling leadership positions.
I see that replacing the county administrator and replacing the leadership within the different departments is critical. We're behind.
Thank you again, candidates. Okay, we have a last series of questions, and you're going to have 1 minute to respond to each one of these. And Tiara is going to start, and they'll once again tell you the order, the random order of candidates.
All right, for this one, we're going to pull again. Mr. Wynn will go first. Then Miss Stacy. Then Diana. And then John. And then Miss Rebecca. The question is, what do you consider a game changer? What would you consider a game changer were it to occur within our county? How can we work towards making it a reality?
I think a game changer would be when we get the internet, 5G in the Citrus County. That's going to be a game changer. I think it's going to happen. These big box stores that everybody's complaining about, they wouldn't be coming here if they didn't know we were going to grow. They know that. They're preparing for it. They don't come here to lose money. And I think that would be the game changer when we get the 5G.
Thank you, John. You're welcome.
I think completing the Holder Industrial Park would be a game changer for Citrus County. If we could get our corridors, our roadways open and our infrastructure in place, the industrial park could bring a lot of good paying jobs into Citrus County, and it would be a game changer.
This way. Oh, sorry. That's okay, I remember. Well, a selfish game changer for me, but it could be any business. I always say, oh, my dream is for Lockheed Martin to come here because my beautiful boy works there for them and is a program manager. But anything of the like, Duke Energy once was paid, like you said, 600 of our highest paying jobs here. So bringing that type of business to Citrus County would be a game changer. And the second part of the question was, how do we get there? Well, we look attractive to them. We work on our infrastructure. As we're making strides in doing, and we look better than the counties around us. And if it's a game-changing business, I'm all for offering tax incentives to that business because that will still increase our tax base pay people good paying jobs, and they'll also be living here and paying taxes. Thank you.
So Game Changer is exactly what we're doing with general aviation. Inverness Airport, Crystal River Airport, there's huge economic opportunity for us with both of those, and we need to move off center. As mentioned earlier, the Inverness Airport was awarded $5 million to build a taxiway that we haven't even moved off center yet. So we can't talk about Game Changers unless we're really willing to take seriously doing the work, especially when the funding is there, because both of those opportunities create real career jobs. And I know I keep saying that, but that is going to solve so many of our problems if we can change the trajectory of the young folks in our community with career jobs. That will be a game changer for us for sure.
Completion of the Suncoast Parkway. As for many years living here, and we've had many economic development plans that have caught a dusty shelf somewhere, I will tell you, every single one of those would tell you, you have to have transportation connectivity and you have to have a workforce. And the completion of that Suncoast Parkway, that helps give us that transportation connectivity, and it also leads to bringing additional people in here for the workforce that we will need to fill those jobs.
All right. So for the next question, our order is going to be Wayne Webb, Stacy Worthington, John Murphy, Rebecca Bays, and Diana Finnegan. You are all running to replace incumbent commissioners who are retiring. Name something you liked about the commissioner you would replace, and something you would do differently. I can ask that question again if you'd like.
Something I like about the commissioner, he's moved to Georgia. And I will live in my district.
One thing that I like about the commissioner is that he is retiring. And what I would do differently is really important, because he really fell down on this, advocating on behalf of my district and the county, and standing up for a lot of really special projects that we have going on, like out in Old Homosassa, the Homosassa River Restoration Project. And we have to focus more on just sugar mill. We can't be insulated. We have to look outside.
So I too love to vacation in Georgia. I won't live there though, I live in my district. But the thing that I really would do differently is represent the area better. We've had a real lack of representation from that Inverness Floral City area on the county commission for a really long time. I've lived in the district, I've lived here for 31 years, in the district almost the entire time, and truly listening and representing those folks, that is what's really, really important, because at the end of the day, we are a representative government, and I want to represent the folks that live in my district.
I think Scott was very good to business. I think he was a very pro-business commissioner. But the thing that I think I would change is the implementation, the projects that we talked about earlier, 491, the septic to sewer, the Inverness. I think getting those projects done, that's where we have fallen short as a board, and I would have liked to see Scott take that position.
Did Wayne go already?
Yeah, he started.
I thought so.
Well, I think that Ron was very good at trying his best in the way he thought was great to protect your tax dollars. He was a very conservative spender, and in a lot of ways, that's a very good asset. I would try to work better as a team with the people around me. And in that zeal, I would share some of that zeal to really watchdog those tax dollars and make sure that we're spending them as efficiently as possible. I would have said yes maybe on a few more things than the no, because I think you do have to spend money to bring more money in and to plan growth effectively. So maybe that's how I would do it a little different.
Back to Dr. Hart.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thanks, Diane. Okay, thank you again. As a reminder to our audience, August 23rd primary ballot will be Diana Finnegan, Stacy Worthington running in District 2, Rebecca Bays, John Murphy, and Wynn Webb running in District 4. And don't forget that winner in District 4 will be elected to the County Commission. You each will now have 1 minute to give your closing. And once again, I'll go to the magic bucket. Let's see who gets the pleasure of going first. That will be John Murphy, then Stacy Worthington, Diana Finnegan, Wynn Webb, and Rebecca Bays. So John, if you want to begin, 1 minute.
Well, hey, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for enduring this and listening and being part of the process. I would encourage you guys, I'd love to chat with you afterwards, or visit my website at likejohnmurphy.com to hear a little bit more about what I stand for. My name is John Murphy. I do want to be your next county commissioner. I have been on the front lines fighting for our community, fighting for the future of our community, fighting for local business, to build the future, build the community that we want for our future. I know what it means to build a team. I know what it means to build consensus. I know what it means to run a multi-million-dollar business, and making sure that at the end of the day, we're being fiduciary responsible for those things in our community. I want a community that's safe. I want a community that funds its law enforcement, that funds its fire, funds its EMS. That's what I stand for, and I want to build that future with you guys, and that's my platform, that's my mission, and really my experiences, I want to take that and bring it to the County Commission to make sure that there's an energy there that is moving the ball forward. Again, my name is John Murphy, County Commission, District 4.
Yes, thank you all for coming out today and getting to know your candidates better. I mentioned transparency and accountability as priorities for me. I think the commission has really been trying to move this forward and been sincere about these efforts. But based on my experiences and conversations in the community, there's still more work we can do. This is a very transformative time. I am confident in the land development code and planning and growth management, and feel I will be an asset to the Board of County Commissioners. I've also put a lot of thought into the issues that are facing Citrus County. And this election is not about me, it's about you and Citrus County. I want to make smart, common sense decisions for the people and businesses here. And if you'd like to learn more about me or my campaign, please reach out to me after this. It's stacyforcitrus.com. And if you think I'm the right person for this job at this time, I would ask for your vote on August 23rd.
Well, as we learned here today, there are issues that the county is facing. And the really difficult part is to try to give you really good solutions in 90 seconds or less. That's probably a challenge for all of us, especially for me because I'm a very holistic person when it comes to solutions. I'm not going to look at every issue and myopically try to dissect it and solve one at a time. We have to look at the things that the county's facing as a whole. Take our whole budget picture. Right now we're sitting at $398.5 million in this current year's budget. By the time we end it, we're going to be $116 million in debt. So, and then we're looking at a 9% gain possibly. So we're going to look at all that and solve all the issues together. I have a proven track record here. There's been a lot thrown at me over the last 25 years, and I've been able to take it and deal with it. So while I'm asking your vote on August 23rd, let my track record speak for me. Let my experience work for you. I'm Diana Finnegan, and I am ready to work for you. Thank you.
Thank you. You have an important decision to make in the upcoming election. Citrus County is at a crossroads. We have many projects that are partially funded and proposed without a clear path to completion. The next Board of County Commissioners will be among the most critical in the history of Citrus County. This is why we need a leader with experience and training. Many campaigns will focus on the future. However, we need to address the issues that are now before us of poor decisions from the past in order to prepare for the future. Road resurfacing has been relegated as an afterthought. Economic development is stymied by anti-business culture. That ends with me. I humbly ask for your support and vote on August 23rd. Thank you.
Again, I appreciate you coming out today, and I appreciate the chamber putting this on. But it basically boils down to this. It's getting ahead of our growth, solving our transportation issues, keeping you safe, and keeping the nature coast the nature coast. We're 68,000 households. Some people are going to say, I don't want growth. It's going to happen. We're currently plotted for 200,000. So you can do the math, and you know what that population is going to be, because the average household in the nation is 2.5. But at the end of the day, we have to have budget reform. That budget is going to tell us how we're going to prioritize and how we're going to get there. Living from one annual budget to the next, one meeting to the next, condemns our community to happenstance. We need someone that looks to the future. You trusted me once before, I'm asking you to trust me again, because I am a visionary, and I'm a listener, and I'm a doer. And I think that my track record has proven with my time serving this community in various charitable organizations. I've put my money where my mouth is, and I've served you in the past, and I'm asking for you to let me have that privilege and that honor once again. Please vote for me August 23rd.
Thank you, candidates. And let me say this, they've all done a great job today, but it doesn't mean anything. They work really hard. You're the people that make the difference. You need to go out and vote. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to turn the mic over to Josh, and he's going to conclude the program for today.
And let's have a round of applause for Dr. Harvey. College of Central Florida president retired, who was one of the deans of our boards, along with Jerry Mulligan. And I told him today, he's probably the most trusted man in Citrus County. I'm trustworthy too, as you know. I had a used car dealership and then went into politics, so you know I'm trustworthy. But Dr. Harvey, I don't hold a candle to that guy. So thank you so much. And I got to give a shout out to Digital Hound Media, who's here, and to their associate, Mike Wright with Just Right Citrus. They are going to be releasing this on July 12th, I believe, July 12th, so that you can see, and we'll be sharing it on their page and the Chamber's page, and Mike will be writing about it in the interim. So we're trying to, along with the Chronicle, Mike Bates is here, we're trying to make sure that these folks that work so hard honing their message gets out to the masses. But you got to get out and vote. So, let's see. We're actually running ahead of schedule. I would like to thank Shaw's Senior Home Care for sponsoring not only this, but the filming that's going out. So thank you so much. Lindsay, would you like to come dismiss us, please?
Thank you. All right, again, thank you to everybody for coming, and then all of the candidates. Have a great weekend.